Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into something pretty cool, a device lots of us know, maybe even love, the Raspberry Pi 5, specifically that 8GB model. Now, the Pi, it's been, the heart of so many projects for years, tinkers, students, makers, but let's be honest, often past versions, great as they were, kind of hit a wall if you tried to use them like a regular computer.
Huh.
So, our mission today, look at the source material on the Pi 5 and figure out if this new one really is that big leap forward. Does it move beyond just being a fun gadget?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. The Pi's whole history is about cramming as much capability as possible onto this tiny, affordable board.
Mm-hmm.
But the Pi 5,
Yeah.
yeah, the question is, does it finally break out, become something more versatile,
Yeah.
challenge those old limits?
Okay, let's get into it then. One of the first things jumping out from the sources is this feeling people get right away, like even setting it up, that it's markedly faster.
Right.
What's actually making it feel so much quicker? Like what's behind that sense that it's maybe more than just a hobbyist's toy now, maybe even a genuinely capable everyday computer?
Right. It's really a combination of the things at the core level.
Mhm.
Architecturally,
Yeah.
you've got a completely new processor generation. It's a quad-core, 64-bit ARM Cortex-A76 running at 2.4 gigahertz. That's getting into proper desktop chip territory almost.
Okay.
And that speed boost over the Pi 4, it's immediately noticeable, no question. Then you pair that with 8 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM. That's fast RAM.
Right, the memory.
Yeah, and that combo means it can handle stuff that would just choke older Pis.
Yep.
Memory-hungry tasks. Think like lots of browser tabs open, maybe some light coding, maybe even a bit of photo editing. It handles it without, breaking a sweat.
So for the listener, what does that actually mean day to day?
It means apps open fast. Snappy. Web browsing feels way smoother. And you can actually multitask without everything grinding to a halt. It just feels more like using a proper computer.
That does sound like a big step for usability. And speaking of proper computing, the research points to something it calls one of the biggest changes, the PCIe 2.0 interface. Now, that sounds technical, but the sources frame it as a potential game changer for people who like to push these things. Why is that such a big deal?
PCIe. Yeah, that is huge. So PCIe, Peripheral Component Interconnect Express, it's basically, think of it like a dedicated, super fast highway for data inside the computer. It connects high-speed bits directly to the brain, the
Yeah.
CPU.
Faster than USB.
Oh yeah, much. Historically, PCs had to rely on USB, which is okay, but it's a bottleneck for really fast stuff. Now, with PCIe 2.0, and okay, you do need an adapter for it right now, but
Yeah.
it just unlocks this whole new world.
Like, what can you actually do with it?
Faster storage is the big one. Think NVMe SSDs. Super fast solid-state drives connected directly.
Right, like in modern laptops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not just storage. You could add specialized network cards, maybe AI accelerator chips,
Yeah.
niche stuff. It really breaks those old expansion limits of just USB and the microSD card.
Yeah.
It lets the Pi become a truly expandable platform.
So it's getting rid of those performance walls we used to hit.
Pretty much, yeah.
You mentioned storage, and the sources say it still boots off a micro SD card by default, which is, classic Pi. But they also highlight a big improvement in booting from USB 3.0. How's that play into it?
Right, the USB booting, that's much, much more stable now, especially if you use a decent external SSD.
Ah,
And the performance difference compared to the microSD, it's huge. Honestly, if you're thinking of using the Pi 5 as like a daily desktop machine,
yeah.
booting from a USB 3 SSD is, it's almost a must. It gets rid of that lag, that slight sluggishness you sometimes get with SD cards, makes it feel consistently snappy.
Makes sense for that desktop feel. Okay, what about graphics? The sources say that's another significant upgrade. How good can the visuals get on this little board now?
Yeah, the graphics got a serious boost too. It's got the Video Cores 7 GPU, and the headline feature, it supports dual 4K displays, both running at 60 Hz.
Wow, dual 4K on a Pi.
Yep, which is frankly pretty remarkable for something this size and price.
So what does that mean practically?
Well, it means you can genuinely run a proper dual monitor setup comfortably without things getting choppy or slow, which the Pi 4 could definitely struggle with if you push both displays hard.
Right, I remember that being an issue.
So yeah, it makes it much better for, say, a media center build or even some light gaming retro emulation.
Like Minecraft, maybe.
Yeah, things like Minecraft. Lots of retro console emulators run great.
Yeah.
But let's be clear, it's not going to compete with a dedicated gaming PC for, AAA titles.
Of course not, but still impressive.
Definitely punches above its weight.
Okay, dual 4K, great. Connectivity, the research calls that another big improvement. What's changed there? What's better for, plugging things in?
It builds on a solid base. You still get your gigabit Ethernet port, dual band Wi-Fi. That's all standard now. But they've added Bluetooth 5.0,
Mm.
which just means connecting wireless keyboards, mice, headphones. It's more reliable, maybe uses a bit less power.
Okay, better wireless.
And ports-wise, you get two USB 3.0, the fast ones, and two USB 2.0. So a decent mix for different peripherals.
And the HDMI.
Yes. A small thing, but really welcome. The dual HDMI outputs, they're full size now.
Oh, thank goodness. No more fiddly micro HDMI adapter.
Exactly. Just makes setting it up that little bit less annoying. It's a nice quality of life improvement.
Definitely. Now, there's always a but, isn't there? The sources bring up a critical point. The Pi 5 runs hotter than the Pi 4. What do we need to know about that? Is it a problem?
It's something you absolutely need to be aware of and budget for, potentially. With the Pi 4, you can often get away with just passive cooling, maybe a little stick-on heatsink for casual use. But the Pi 5, with all that extra power, it generates more heat, so it really, really benefits from active cooling. A proper heatsink, or better yet, the official fan cooler accessory.
And if you don't cool it?
Well, if you push it hard run demanding tasks, the temperatures climb fast. And then thermal throttling kicks in.
Meaning it slows itself down.
Exactly. The chip deliberately reduces its speed to stop itself overheating, which obviously hurts performance.
Right.
So yeah, getting a fan isn't just like an optional extra if you want the best performance. It's kind of necessary to maintain that peak speed and stability under load.
So not a deal breaker, but factor in buying a cooler.
Precisely. Especially if you plan to really use that extra power.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, final point then. Value. The sources mention it has a higher price point, especially this AGB model we're focusing on. Is it worth the extra cost?
It's true. The AGB Pi 5 is more expensive than, say, the Pi 4 was at launch.
Yeah.
That's definitely a factor. But when you look at the sheer scale of the performance jump, the new features like PCIe, the better connectivity, honestly, it feels justified. It's still way cheaper than even a basic conventional desktop or laptop.
Sure.
And considering what you're getting, the power, the flexibility, the expandability.
Yeah,
I think the value proposition is still really strong. It's not just a cheap toy anymore. It's a genuinely powerful, adaptable little computer.
So summing it all up, it sounds like this Raspberry Pi 5, the 8GB one, really does hit this interesting sweet spot. It's still got that fun, hackable, experimental vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it also feels like it's genuinely crossed a threshold into being a surprisingly capable machine for everyday tasks. Not just an upgrade, maybe more like a transformation.
I think that's a fair assessment. Spot on. The sources really emphasize how versatile it is now. You know, great for learning code, sure. Building cool DIY stuff, setting up home servers like for automation or a media server, or honestly, just having a small, low-power PC kicking around for browsing, writing docs, that kind of thing. With that boost in power, the much better connectivity, and especially that expandability, the Pi 5 really does feel like the most versatile, most exciting Pi they've made yet. It pushes the whole idea of what a single-board computer can do.
And that brings us to a final thought, maybe something for you to chew on. If the Raspberry Pi, this tiny, affordable board, can now genuinely start to act like a capable, everyday computer, maybe even a base for small business solutions, what does that actually imply for the future of personal computing overall? And maybe closer to home, how could it change your own relationship with technology, the way you build things or solve problems or just interact with your digital life? Definitely something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.